Hello everyone, my name is Priya and I welcome all of you to the session. In this session, we are going to start with our JavaScript journey. Since this is our first session of JavaScript, so let's go through the syllabus which we are going to cover throughout this journey of JavaScript. Okay. So these are the different topics we are going to cover in this JavaScript journey. Okay. So in session 1, we are going to start understanding dynamic web application, and we are also going to create our first dynamic web application in session 1 itself. Okay. So next we'll discuss about the functions in JavaScript in session 2. In session 3, we will discuss about the primitive data types and conditional control construct. In session 4, we will be discussing about some math function, and here we are going to create our first JavaScript game. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about the most important topic in session 5, arrays and DOM manipulation. The different DOM manipulation methods also we are going to cover. Okay. So in 6th session, we are going to cover the objects in JavaScript. In 7th session, we will be discussing about callbacks and schedulers. In 8th session, we will be discussing about event listeners in JavaScript. In 9th session, spread and rest operators. In 10th session, factory function constructors and date objects. In 11th session, we will be discussing some modern JavaScript concepts, for example, this keyword, mutability, and many more things. Okay. So in the next session, JavaScript classes and inheritance we will discuss. And I have divided this JavaScript promises into two different sessions. Okay. Because this comes under advanced JavaScript. So many things we will discuss under this JavaScript promises, means what is promise, why these promises got invented. Okay. So next we will discuss about HTTP request object, HTTP response object. Okay, how this HTTP request and response will be processed internally, what protocols will be followed when we enable the communication between client and server. Okay, those things we are going to cover in this 15th session. Okay, and next we are going to create 4 different APIs, our get API, post API, put API and delete API. All the 4 APIs we are going to create to perform the CRUD operation, and a complete code we are going to write it in JavaScript. Okay. And last we will be discussing about JavaScript scoping and hoisting concepts. Okay. And these concepts also comes under advanced JavaScript. So from basics to advanced, everything we are going to cover. How internally JavaScript works, who executes this code, everything we are going to cover in this. Okay. So these are the fixed topics which we are going to cover throughout our journey of JavaScript. In future, let's say some more topics if we want to add, then we are going to add it. Okay. As you can check, first 5th session I created of arrays and DOM manipulation. Later I thought to add more DOM manipulation methods, so I have created one more session over here. Okay. So you can expect more than 17 plus sessions throughout this journey of JavaScript. 17 sessions for sure it will be there. Okay. So now we are going to start with our session 1. Okay. I'm directly starting with the dynamic web application, and we will be creating our first dynamic web application in this session. History of JavaScript I'm not going to cover over here. If you are interested to learn the complete history of JavaScript, so in the description I have provided one link. You can go through that video and you can understand the complete history of JavaScript, who invented JavaScript, when it got invented, what was the need of JavaScript. So everything you can learn over there. Okay. But directly here in this session, we are going to start with our coding journey. Okay. History we will not discuss. Okay. So let's start with our session 1. So I'll just open this document. So this session wise notes also, this notes links you will be getting in the description itself. Okay. So let's move ahead. Okay. So now first we need to understand what is the meaning of this dynamic web application. We are going to create our first dynamic web application using JavaScript. But what is the meaning of dynamic web application, that we need to understand. Okay. So let's start. Let's say I have opened one browser and here I'll search for amazon.com. Chrome browser I have opened. This is the address bar of the browser and we searched for amazon.com. We got the complete website of Amazon. Okay, understood. So whenever you are accessing any application with the help of browser plus internet, we call it as a web application. Okay, so here if I search for amazon.com or if I search for facebook.com, okay, any application which you access using this browser plus internet, we call it as a web application. Okay, so yes, JavaScript helps us to create such web applications, but to make these applications interactive, to create a dynamic web application, JavaScript helps us. So what is the meaning of dynamic web application and interactive web application, that we need to understand now? Okay, so dynamic web application means on website fixed data we will not be having, means data will change over time. For example, if you check this Amazon website, okay, based on my search history, order history, or based on, let's say, on some product sale is going on, then those products will be displayed over here. This data is not fixed, this data will change over time. Okay, in the similar way you might have seen the weather applications. Okay, the weather data will change over time. So on websites where data is not fixed, it is not static, we call it as a dynamic application. So you can take the help of your YouTube application as well to understand this concept. YouTube application also displays dynamic data towards. The data is not fixed on YouTube's website. If you open, some videos will be displayed to you. After certain time, again if you reopen it, some other videos will be displayed for you. Okay, so on website, if data is not static, that's what we call it as a dynamic web application. Okay, so what in all the applications we are using today, most of the applications are dynamic web applications, right? And interactive web application means the application in which we can interact. For example, if we open Amazon application, we can enter the requirement. Accordingly, we can search for the products. We can add the items to the cart and we can purchase it, proceed with the payment, okay, and place the order. So we can purchase the product because application is interactive. It will allow us to communicate with the application, like that we can say. In the similar way, you can book the rides today because you can communicate with that application. If application is not allowing you to click or to enter any data, then of course that application is not at all interactive. So if application is not interactive means it is static. Okay, you can consider your newspapers. From newspapers we can just read the data. In newspaper, let's say one advertisement came, so we can just read the data about that advertisement, that's all. Actually we cannot purchase that product using newspaper, not possible, right? But when it comes to the dynamic interactive applications, we can enter our data and we can purchase the products, we can book the rides, we can book the movie. So we are able to complete this task because applications are dynamic and interactive. If they are just static, then there is no use of those applications because these applications won't allow to complete the task, like to complete the purchase or to complete the booking of any ride and many more things. Okay, so JavaScript basically helps us to build such dynamic and interactive web applications. Okay, so these are the different advantages of JavaScript. Okay, it enables the real time updates. Real time updates means in real time we get the information of train availability. If you check the IRCTC website, in real time we get the information of how many train or how many seats are available into one particular train. So that data will be updated in real time. That's what we call it as a real time data. As soon as the data will be collected, it will be available for us to review or to go through that data. Okay, so such real time updates also without reloading the complete page we will be getting. Okay, it connects the browser and server to show the live and personalized data. It works everywhere. It works at client side also, it works at server side also. Means we can write the front end and back end logic both in JavaScript, and that's why today we have a lot of demand for JavaScript, because we can build the client side layer also and server side layer also. Okay, so these advantages you will understand in more clear way when you actually build your dynamic and interactive applications. As of now, many of you might not be understanding what is interactive, dynamic or real time updates. So no worries, when you actually jump into building these types of application, There you will understand, okay, what exactly this real time data means, what exactly this interactive website means, and so on. Okay, so as of now you can ignore the advantages or the use cases of JavaScript. Okay, so now next we need to understand the style of JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript code, we can write it in procedural language also, or in object oriented style also, or in scripting style also. Basically JavaScript, we call it as a scripting language. So what is the difference between this object oriented scripting language? Why we are calling this as a scripting language? Let's understand everything from the scratch. Okay, so I'm going to use the VS Code to type the code in JavaScript, and day wise we will be creating the files over here, okay, in one single folder. So you can also open the VS Code, and in that open one folder, I have created one folder with the name JavaScript course 2025. Okay, so you can also create one folder. In this folder we will be creating day wise files. Okay, so since this is our first session, so we will create one folder or file with the name dynamic web applications. Okay, dot, here I am going to give the extension as HTML, not JavaScript. Why? I'll tell you next. Okay, dynamic web application dot HTML, this is the file name I have given. Okay, so now here we are going to type our first JavaScript code. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so I'm going to take the basic structure of HTML over here. The title document is there, so we will replace this title document to style of JS language. Okay, means how we can write the JavaScript code in different styles that we are going to observe. I don't need this meta tags as of now, so I can remove all of this head tag. I'll keep it as it is. Okay, so now inside the browser body, we directly cannot start writing the JavaScript code because browser will treat it as a HTML elements. Okay, and browser will render the content as it is on our front end. If I write it over here P and hello, so browser will think this as a paragraph and it will treat it as a paragraph content only. So we have to tell to the browser that whatever the code I am going to write next in this browser body, that is a script code. So in between this opening and closing of script tag, we are going to write our JavaScript code. Okay, so this is the opening of script tag. This is the closing of script tag. Here we will write our JavaScript code. Okay, first JavaScript code. So I am going to use the style here, scripting style. Scripting style of writing JS code. Okay. Now scripting style means what? See, scripting style means where we no need to create any function or we no need to create any class and object. Directly however you want, you write the small scripts. For example, let's say I want to print hello world. So I can simply write console.log hello world. That's all. Okay, like this we can write it. So basically scripting languages means the languages in which we no need compilation process. Directly your code will be interpreted, okay, by your engines. So here JavaScript engine will execute this code. Okay, so now if I want to render this complete code which is present in .html file, then what I have to do, I'll just go live from here. Okay, and like this we will be getting our web page. On web page we have not displayed anything, but if we check the console, we'll go to the console. As you can check over here, this hello world, I got it over here. Okay, if I refresh this, yes, hello world is present over here. So in console we got hello world. So who executed this code? Browser executed this code? No, browser has not executed your script. Rather, inside this browser JavaScript engine is present. That engine has executed your code. So when you click go live over here, then browser will check this tag. Browser understand only and only language of tags. So browser will check the header tag. Browser will check the title tag. This content browser will render in the title. As you can check, this is the title of your page. Okay, style of JS language. So browser understand the language of tag and accordingly this data will be rendered. Okay. So next tag is browser body tag. So browser will understand we have to render some data in the browser body now. Okay. So this is the script tag. As soon as browser will encounter the script tag, now browser will get to know that we have to wake up the JavaScript engine. JavaScript engine will run this script. Browser will not run that script. As soon as browser will encounter script tag, browser understand the language of tag. So browser will ask JavaScript engine which is running inside the browser automatically. The time when you got browser in your system, along with the browser you already got JavaScript engine in your system. Okay, so that JavaScript engine will execute this script code and accordingly it has given output to us. Okay, so one point is clear: who executes JavaScript code? JavaScript engine which is present inside the browser executes JavaScript code. Okay, so now one point you can research that which JavaScript engine is running inside Chrome browser. This you have to research. Okay, I will not tell. One JavaScript engine, different types of engines we have. So one type of JavaScript engine is running inside Chrome browser. So that name you have to find out and you can let me know in the comment sections. Okay. So now let's move ahead. Scripting style of writing JS code we have written. Okay, directly we can write the script. Okay, if you are not creating any function, class, doesn't matter. Directly you can write the script. Your script will be interpreted by your JavaScript engine. Compilation process won't happen over here because it is a scripting language. Okay, do remember this. Now we will write procedural way, procedural style of writing JS code. Writing JS code. Okay. Now procedural means what? Procedure or procedural. Both pronunciations are fine. Okay. So procedure means method. Okay. So here to write the JavaScript code, we are going to create one method. For example, let's say I want to print hello world only. So I am going to create one function. To create one function in JavaScript, we use this function keyword. Multiple ways are there to declare the function. In the upcoming sessions we will explore them. Okay, so this is the function. The name of function, let's say I have given over here as greet. Okay, this is the name of function. These are the curly brackets to give the block of function. Inside this I'll just write console.log hello world. Okay, hello world, or here I'll just write good morning. Okay, like this. Okay, so now if you want the statements which are present inside the function to execute, then it is must to call the function. So I'm going to call the function over here. Function names, we start it with lowercase. Okay, so this is the calling of our greet function. Now it's time to execute this code. How this code will be rendered? Browser will check the header tag, title tag, body tag. As soon as browser will encounter the script tag, it will invoke JS engine and JavaScript engine will start executing the code line by line, top to bottom approach. So line number 1 first it executes and it prints hello world. Line number 2 it executes, which is nothing but calling of function. From here control will come inside this function and it will print good morning in the console. Okay, so let's check. We'll save this code. We'll go back and just refresh this page over here. Okay, that's all. So as you can check, this is hello world and we got it good morning over here. This console is the developers area. This is the developers tool we have. Okay, inside this developers tool, this console area we have where we can cross verify the output. Okay, so here we check the output of our JavaScript code in the console. Okay, so now I'm going to just minimize this. So procedural way, in procedural style we have written our JavaScript code. So one more style is there which is nothing but object oriented style of writing JS code. So this JavaScript code, now we are going to write it in object oriented style. So if you'd have learned the Java or Python, in those languages you might have created the different class objects. Okay, so here I'm going to create one class. Let's say the class name is animal. Okay, This is the class. Now inside this class you can give the different has part means properties and methods, okay, as per your requirement. Here I'll just give one method with the name greeting. Greeting, this is the method name, okay. Inside this method I'm going to print, let's say, hello, good morning, okay, like this one message I am going to display. So one class is ready with this method, okay. Now I want to create the object of this class, so I'm going to create one object. Let's say object name is a1. I want to create one new object for my animal class. So one object got created. Now on the next line I'll just write a1 dot greeting. That's all. So we'll save the code. Now, if you are thinking, what is this let, what is this A1? Don't worry, we have just returned the JavaScript code in object-oriented style. That's all. In the upcoming sessions, we will learn everything about this object orientation. As of now, just observe the style of our JavaScript language. Okay. So now I am going to save this code. We'll come back and let's refresh this. See, we got output hello world. How we got this output? When we have written the JavaScript code in scripting style. We got output over here good morning. How we got this output? When we have written JavaScript code in procedural style, means inside a function we gave that logic. Here we have given the logic inside the instance method, means inside class we have one method. There we have written this JavaScript logic. So JavaScript code we can write it in scripting way. Okay, we can write it in procedural way, we can write it in object oriented way. So that's why this JavaScript we call it as a programming language as well. JavaScript is a scripting language. Scripting language means the language in which compilation phase is not required. Your code will be directly interpreted by your JavaScript engine. Okay. So this particular JavaScript code, you can write it in object oriented way as well. So all the principles, different principles of object orientation like inheritance, your JavaScript supports. So that's why we call this JavaScript as a programming language as well. We can call this scripting language as a programming language as well, okay. But we cannot call all the programming languages as a scripting language. For example, we have a Java programming language. Can we call Java as a scripting language? Not possible, okay. Can we call C++ language as a scripting language? Not possible. So all the programming languages are not scripting languages. But we have a scripting languages like JavaScript, Python. These scripting languages supports object orientation, operators, okay, different concepts of programming word. These scripting languages supports. That's why we call them as a programming languages as well. So one statement I'll write it over here. Okay, you just check whether you agree or not. Okay, all scripting languages are programming languages. All scripting languages are programming languages, but all programming languages are not scripting languages, are not scripting languages. Okay, this you need to understand. All scripting languages are programming languages, but all programming languages are not scripting languages. And why all scripting languages are programming languages? Because this supports your concepts of your programming word, like this supports object orientation, principles of object orientation, they supports operators, okay, the different logical, your arithmetic, all types of operators and other concepts of programming word they supports. That's why we call them as a programming language, because we can write the logic by using these languages, okay. So yes, that's all about your style of JavaScript language, okay. I hope I'm clear with this, okay. So in this we have discussed actually the style of language, so we will rename this file with style of JS code. Okay, style of JS code. So we can write the JS code in scripting style, in procedural style, and in object oriented style. We have just typed the code. Okay, actual meaning we will be discussing in the upcoming sessions. So now let's move ahead. This is the output we got it. Correct, right? So this part we have completed now. Procedural language, object oriented language, scripting language. We understood it. Okay. Scripting means for automation file work or for web page actions, we can go with this. Okay. Without compilation, these languages often works. Okay. So in this JavaScript don't need any compilation phase. Directly it will be interpreted by your JS engine. Okay. So now it's time to discuss about the JavaScript variables. In every programming language, if you want to work with some logic, then variables are the key component to learn first. Okay, we must know how to declare variables. In those variables only we will hold the data. Okay, so that's why let's understand how to declare variables in JavaScript. So I'll just write variables dot html only. I'm going to write, not JavaScript. Okay, why? I'll tell you next. Variables.html. Now directly I am going to take the script tag. The remaining things I don't need, so directly I have taken the script tag. So as soon as I go live, my browser will get to know script tag is there. So browser understand the language of tag, it will invoke the JavaScript engine. Okay, so now in JavaScript, we no need to mention the data type while declaring the variable. For example, let's say I want to store 10 into my variable. So directly I can write it like this. A is equal to 10. We no need to mention this A is of type int. Not required. As you can check, we are getting an error. Unexpected keyword. So JavaScript won't ask you to declare the data type while declaring variables, because JavaScript is dynamically typed language. Here I'll just write JS is dynamically typed language. Dynamically typed language means what? The language in which we no need to mention data type for variables. Okay, let me drag my video over here. Okay. So the language in which we no need to mention data type for variables, such languages we call it as a dynamically typed languages. Okay. So JS is dynamically typed language, means the language in which we no need to mention data type for variables. Data type while declaring variables. Okay. So here one more statement I'll just write. Data type will be assigned to variables Okay. So one simple statement I have written over here. Data type will be assigned to the variables by language itself. As a programmer, we no need to mention the data type for the variables in JavaScript. As you can check over here, if I want to declare one variable, directly I have stored value to it. I haven't mentioned any data type over here. But it doesn't mean data type concept is only not there in JavaScript. No, data type concept is there. But JavaScript language itself assigns data type for the variable. For example, if I declare A is equal to 10 and on the next line, let's say I'm printing the value of A in the console. So let's see the output of this code. You can open with the live server or you can just click go live over here. Okay. Let me keep the video over here. Okay. So now I'm going to inspect this code and let's check the console. Okay. Console. So here you can check 10 value. I got it over here. This is the value of your A variable. So here also if you type A and hit enter, you will be getting the value of variable A. Okay. Inside this file variables.html only your script code is present. Okay. So yes, we successfully we are getting the value of a. There is no error. Now, what is the data type for this a? We don't know, we have not mentioned. But what I have mentioned over here, language decides the data type for this variable. Okay, so if you want to check the type of this a, you can simply use something called as type of operator in JavaScript. This is operator, type of operator. Okay, what is the type of a? Now if you check the type of a, if I just refresh this, I'm getting number. Who decided this type? Have we decided? No. JavaScript will decide the data type for your variables. In the similar way, in A, if I store my name, I'll just write Priya. I'll save the code. And now if we just refresh, type of A is a string now. So JavaScript is changing the data type for variable based on value which we have stored. Now if I change the value to some boolean value, true I will give. Yes, no type of data. Now if you check the data type, I'm getting boolean. Okay, so JavaScript is deciding the data type for these variables. We no need to mention anything. Okay, so different real world data like numbers, boolean values, string values, JavaScript supports. So the different data types which are there in JavaScript, next in the upcoming session we are going to cover. So as of now, do remember, while declaring variables, we no need to mention data type. Okay, and you can add the space also while declaring string like this. If I mention over here, job ready coders like this. So what is the value of A? Let's say this is the value of A. And here I am going to mention the type of A. We'll save the code. Now if you check your output, job ready coders, this is the value of A and string is the type of A. Who decided the data type for this A? JavaScript decided the data type for this A. Okay. So now let's move ahead. So here we have checked that while declaring the variables in JavaScript, we no need to mention anything because JavaScript is dynamically typed language. Okay. So now we no need to mention data type, but we have to mention either of this keyword like let, const or var while declaring variables. So let's use them. Okay. So now here I declared one variable and I have stored some value into it. But while declaring this variable, before variable you can mention let like this. Now why let we have used? What is the use of let? What is the use of var? We'll discuss next. Okay. Just mention as of now. Or let's say var b is equal to 100 I have stored. Or let's say const c is equal to one boolean value I am going to store over here. So on the next line, if I print the value of b, and if you want to check the type of b, you can check it like this. Okay. Here, if I print the value of c, and this is the type of c. Okay. Now, if we save the code, now it's time to observe our output. We'll just refresh this. So you can check value A, data type, value of B, data type, value of C, and this is the data type. Okay. So either of the keyword var, let or const is must to use while declaring the variable. Most commonly used is let. We usually go with the let. Okay. Var now we won't use. Const is for constants. In the name itself, that meaning is there. Const C, once you declared, you cannot reassign C with a new value. Now we have mentioned in C true is present. Later if you have mentioned no, in C I want to store 500. So now if I save this code and if we just refresh this, so we got an error, assignment to constant variable. So first time while declaring C, you mentioned true, right? So you cannot reassign new value to the C. That's the meaning of constant. But we can reassign B with the new value, let's say 600. We can reassign A with the new value, let's say Priya over here. Okay. So now A is holding Priya, B is holding 600. Let's check our output. I'm going to refresh this. As you can check, Priya and 600, but C we cannot reassign. So if you are thinking, then what is the difference between this let and var? So in the upcoming sessions we are going to explore it. As of now you can ignore this. Okay. So I'm going to remove this also. So now what we understood about variables in JavaScript, variables in JavaScript, we no need to mention data type for the variables because JavaScript is dynamically typed programming language. Automatically data type for the variables will be decided by language itself. How language decides data type for variable? Language decides data types for variables based on what value we have stored into this variable. If we have stored string value, data type for A is string. If we have stored a number, data type for B is number. If we have stored boolean, data type for C is boolean. Okay, this is how the data type will be assigned for the variables. So I hope I am clear with how to declare variables in JavaScript. So let's move ahead. So now declaration of variables is done. This much knowledge is more than sufficient to build our first dynamic web application in this session. Okay. So now to build the web application, next we need to understand something called as DOM. DOM is a short form or shortcut to which we use for document object model. Okay, document object model. So we picked D, O and M from these words and we call it as a DOM. Okay, document object model. So what is the meaning of this DOM? Document object model means tree like structure of your HTML code. For example, just now we have written one HTML code, right? So what is the document object model for this? So in this document object model, initially we will be having the window object. Below that we will be having the other nodes of our code. Okay. So quickly we will just go through one simple document object model. So here I'll just search for DOM tree. I need some examples of DOM tree. Okay. So these are the different DOM tree. First one or this one will select. Okay. This one will go through it. Let me check. We'll close this. Some good DOM tree along with the code if we find, that would be good. So let me go with this only. Yeah, this DOM tree only will go through. So here you can check this particular DOM tree. I hope it is visible. Okay. So this is one basic HTML code they have written. You can ignore the advertisement over here. Okay. So this is the basic HTML code they have given. HTML tag, header tag, browser body tag. Okay. And inside browser body h1p table tags are present. So what is the DOM tree for this? So first top node of your tree will be window object. Below window object we will be having document node. Below document node actually your HTML start. First window node. Below that window node document node. Below document node this HTML node. And inside HTML two nodes are present, head and body. Inside head you can check, inside head we have a title, inside head a title and its text content is DOM tutorial. Inside browser body we have h1 p and table. So inside h1 this is the content, inside p this is the content, and inside table again we have a tr. This is the class name of tr, and inside this tr we have a 3 td tags. So td1, td2, td3. So this tree like structure of our complete HTML code is what we call it as a DOM tree. Do remember this. Okay. So in this DOM tree actually window object and document object is missing. So let me open one new DOM tree. So as you can check, the top root will be window object, below that document object, and then your HTML root element means will come, and below that your browser head, browser body, and so on. Okay, so all the attributes of your element, the content of your element, everything will be present over here. So this is what we call it as a DOM tree, document object model. One more example if you want, you can go through this particular example. Okay, so this is one example. Okay, document object, below that we will be having other nodes. Okay, so document will come first. Do remember this. Okay, I hope I am clear with this DOM tree. So let me close all these tabs now. Now DOM tree is clear. Okay, So we are going to use this DOM tree concept now, and we will be building dynamic application. Okay, so now let's JavaScript access and modify HTML elements, and the root object is document. Do remember, in DOM tree root object is document. Below document other nodes are present. Okay, so now first we are going to discuss about one DOM method, document dot get element by id method, and then we will discuss about some DOM properties and events as well. Okay, so with the help of this example, let's understand. Okay, one simple example is there where one heading will be present and one button will be present, and we will be creating one function to manipulate these elements. Okay, HTML elements. So let's try it out. We'll go back to our code. Okay, I'm going to create one new file. Variables done, right? So we'll create one new file with the name DOM, intro to dom.html. Okay, now inside this I'm going to write the script code. So this is opening and closing of my script tag. In separate file also we can write the complete JavaScript code. That part we will discuss next. Okay, this is internal JavaScript. In case of external JavaScript, in some other JS file we can write our complete code, and here we can write script, we can give src, and we can give the file name. Okay, let's say your file name is script.js, you can give that file name over here. Okay, so now you can create one file with the name script.js, and in that file we can write our JavaScript code. Okay, and later you can execute this HTML document. But instead of that, I'm going to use the internal JavaScript only. Okay, so now inside this we will be writing the script code, but before that we need browser body as well, because inside a browser body we will be creating the different elements. So let's completely take the structure, because here we are going to work with the DOM tree. Correct, meta tags I don't need, so I'm going to remove this meta tags. This language English also not required. So this is the basic structure of HTML code, and title I'm going to change it as DOM. Okay, that's all. So now in the browser body here, I'm going to give one h1 with the heading. What is the heading? Let's say web technologies. I'm going to give the heading as web technologies. That's all. And exactly below this, I'm going to give one button as well. And here I'll just write a change heading. Okay, this content I'll display over here. So what is the output of this? Let's go live for this. Okay, let me keep the video over here. Okay. So like this we got output web technology. Now if I click on this button, nothing will happen, because without JavaScript your HTML is, your web page is just a static page. Nothing will happen. Even though if I click multiple times, nothing will happen. So HTML is all about displaying the content like this. CSS is all about styling these buttons and heading. JavaScript is all about making your web page interactive. If I click here, something should happen. Your page should respond to your actions. Okay, whatever the clicks you are doing over here, means when we are clicking on the objects elements, then some response should happen. Okay, we should get some response. So that's what we call it as a dynamic or interactive applications. Okay, so now when user will click on this button, I want to change this heading to job ready coders. Okay, so how to achieve this? So for that purpose we are going to make use of script. Make sure your script tag, if you are using in browser body, it must be present just before the closing of browser body. It's not like first you have written script code, then this HTML code. No, always keep this script tag just before the closing of browser body. If we do like this, then what will happen? Complete HTML elements will be rendered on your front end in the DOM tree, and then this script will be executed. Otherwise, if you give this script tag immediately inside this browser body, then before browser will encounter h1 and button elements, browser will encounter the script tag and browser will ask JS engine to execute this. So parallelly JavaScript is executing this and browser is executing this. So what I want is browser should complete this execution, browser should render all the elements, and then my JS engine should execute my script code. This is what I want. So that's why I have given this script exactly before the closing of browser body. Do remember this, okay? So now inside this script, first I want to target this h1, okay? I want to manipulate h1. So I'm going to declare one variable, let's say element. You can use var, let, const based on your choice, okay? Element. And here I'll just write document dot get element by id. These are the DOM methods, okay? And the root means the main node of our DOM tree is a document. Inside this document object, multiple methods we have, so we call them like document dot get element by id. Now what is the id of this element h1? We have not given any id, so let's give it. I'm going to give id as heading, okay? So target the element where id is heading. Okay, understood. Now what is present in element? Let's observe. I'll just click on element. Okay, so what is present in element? Let's see. I'll just refresh this. We'll click to the inspect. We'll check the console. In element, the complete h1 element is present. Okay, so this is what we call it as a targeting element. We have mentioned, go to the document. Document means our complete document object. Inside that we have get element by id method, okay, and target the element where id is heading. Okay, so which element has id heading? This element. So this complete element is present inside this ELE variable. That's all. Okay. So now what I want is when user will click on this button, which button? This button. Then it should change the heading to job ready coders. So in that case, we will be using event listeners. So when user will click on this button, see on click event we have. Then we will call one function with the name change. Heading function will call over here. Change, C-H-A-N-G, change the heading. Okay. So now where this function is present, of course, declaration of function should not be present in HTML. Okay. So we are going to declare one function with the name change heading over here. Okay. So we are calling one function with the name change heading. Where it is present? Yeah, here it is present. Okay, understood. Now inside this, we already have targeted this heading. So what we will do, we will remove this line inside this function. Okay. So when user will click on this button, then target this heading. Okay. Now we'll just write element dot text content property we have, which will change the property of this elements. Sorry, text content of this element. Okay. So text content, what you want? I want job ready coders. This is the text content I want. So now what was present in element variable? So let me print the element variable over here. Console.log element. Or here I am going to print. After this text content property, we will print this console.log element. Okay. So now if we just check our output, let's refresh it. Okay. So we are not getting anything because we have to click on this. So I will click on this button. So you can check we got one H1 and where text content is job ready coders. Okay. And here also we got job ready coders, as you can check over here. So when user will click on this button, what will happen? As soon as you click on this button, change heading function will be called. So change heading function is present over here. It will target your heading element and its text content means this content. It will set it as job ready coders. That's all. Okay. So like this we have achieved. So if I just refresh this, I'm getting web technology. But when user will click on this, we got it job ready coders. So I hope I'm clear with how to target elements, how to set the text content for them, and how this on click event works. Okay. So we'll save this. So one more on click example if you want to check, here I'll give, let's say one more button I have. Okay, this is my submit button. So here I'm going to use again on click. When user will click on this button, then give one alert message. What alert message? Form submitted. One alert message I'm going to give as, just a minute, let me just cross verify the syntax. So syntax is almost correct, but what is happening here outside, if we are using the double quotes like this, then inside it is must to use single quote, or actually we can use, okay, like this we can use outside double quotes. So inside single quotes I have used. So here I'll just write form submitted, form submitted. One alert message I have given, that's all. So when user will click on this button, submit button, form submitted, alert message, we should get it. So let's try it out. We'll go over here. This is the submit button. I have clicked. So we got the alert message, form submitted. So with the help of this events, your JavaScript, your website or web page will listen to your action and accordingly it will respond. So isn't it interactive application? So now this is not just a static page where we can just only read the data. No, if we click here, something is happening. So this is interactive application, and data is not static, it is dynamic. So this is your dynamic application as well. Okay, I hope I am clear with this. So let's move ahead now. So this example you can try it out. Here I have changed the text content. You can change the color also. Okay, so here I'll just write element dot style dot color. I want to give here blue color. Okay, so now if I save this code, we'll go back. First let's refresh this. If I click on change heading, it has changed the heading also, and it has changed it in blue color as well. So this is how we can set the properties. Okay, so now let's go with one task. Okay, whatever the concepts we have learned, like declaration of the variables. Okay, document means our DOM tree, document dot get element by ID. We can set the text content. We have discussed about event listeners also. So by using all these concepts, we are going to build one task. For this task, whatever the HTML code is there, along with the Tailwind CSS, I have provided over here. Your task is you have to open the document. Whatever the code I have provided, the initial code, HTML code you have to copy, not JavaScript code. And here one more file I am going to create with the name task1.html. Inside this I am going to paste it. Okay, this is your task 1. Let me show you the output of this HTML. I'll just go live. Yeah. So this is the output of this HTML code. Okay, if I click on day, already it is day mode only. If I click on night, I should get the night mode. But this is now static page. If you click, nothing will happen. But if I click on day, day mode, I got it. This sun image I got, good morning text I got. But when I click on night mode, I want some dark background color. I want some moon image over here, and good night message I want over here. So it should update the data based on my click. So how to achieve this? So let's first go through the complete code. As you can check, this is your image. Okay, sun image. Accordingly, you can find the moon image over here. This is the text we have to change. These are the different buttons I have provided over here. So now whatever the script code is required for this, we have to write the script code, correct, right? So I can create one more new file with the name task1 script.js. Task1 script code we are going to write over here, and later we will just link that file, okay, inside this. So inside this head, I'm going to take the script, will provide the src. Inside head, we will not give, rather before we close the browser body, here we can provide the script tag. Okay, this is the script src. What is our script file name? task 1 script.js. Okay. Yeah. So script tag I have provided over here. So whenever you execute this file, then this script also will be executed. For example, let's say I have given one alert message over here like script executed. Okay. So now as soon as I render this HTML file, let's go live from here. Okay. So as you can check, script executed message I am getting. So whenever you render this HTML file, automatically script is being executed because we have linked it over here. Okay. Now inside this, we are going to write the complete script. So what is the script? I have provided the script means solution, JavaScript solution over here. So this solution directly don't copy paste over here. I want you guys to completely understand this solution. Okay. And accordingly build it. So now if I go back and let me show you the output, let's refresh it first. If I click on day mode, this is the day mode. But if I click on night mode, this is the night mode where this moon image actually I have to replace. Okay, in both the cases sun image we are getting. But yeah, some different image is present over here. Good night text I am getting and the background color also changed. Okay, so we have to just target the elements. When user will click on this button, day button, then which function will be called? Set day mode function will be called. In this set day mode function, we will decide the background color, some light color, this image and this text. So as you can check in set day mode function, this is my set day mode function. I have given the text content good morning. Okay. Then background color, some light color we have given, correct, right? For text also, sorry, for this day button, for this button also we have given some background color. Okay, and this is the night button. So where these elements are present, if you want to check, you have to just check the id of them. These are the ids. Okay, because when you click on day, the background color of night button also it should change. When I click on night, background color of day I want it gray. Okay, so when you click on day button, background color for this night button, we will change it to gray. Okay, so like this you have to update the CSS properties dynamically based on user action. Okay, so here we understood the concept of function, we understood the concept of document.getElement by id, and some different syntax also we have used while targeting the elements. So I want you guys to completely get this pre-filled code from the description. So create the files like this and completely go through the JavaScript code over here. Okay, and try to build this task from your end. Okay, so this is all about our session 1. From session 2 onwards, I am going to use the Node.js environment to execute the JavaScript code. Okay. So now what is Node.js environment? If you want to know, in the description I have given one link of my Node.js introduction. Node.js playlist is already live. If you already know the JavaScript, only advanced concepts if you want to learn, directly you can jump to the advanced concepts and you can start learning Node.js. Okay. So yes, this is all about our this session. We'll meet in the next session with our session 2 topics in which functions we are going to explore. This is very important for you to understand the syntax of functions. Okay, so session 2 is very important for you to understand the different ways of declaring the functions. So we'll meet in the next session with some new topics. Until then, take care all of you and wish you all the best to all. Thank you.